This project has given me the chance to meet some awesome women from all over the world to talk about perimenopause. But the more women I meet and the more I learn, I simply cannot make sense how we've made it this far with no education for women before they reach 35, so they're ready for the drop in our female hormones. Our estrogen and progesterone levels begin to decline, and this is a process that can take up to 10 or 15 years. Our mental and physical well being are so extremely delicate during this phase. Many of us experience some or many of these perimenopausal symptoms completely clueless and not knowing why this is happening or what to do about it. Perimenopause reminds me of puberty, and I am so incredibly thankful that little girls from all over the world do get the right education before they reach that age. Otherwise, can you imagine if we had gone into puberty blindly? One day you wake up and you're bleeding, and the bleeding keeps going for a few days, and you feel the pain and you're nauseous and you're crying for no reason, and you have no one to talk to or anybody who knows about it or someone who's actually interested to engage into this conversation with you. Imagine if that had been the case. Imagine how traumatic that would have been. Well, that's kind of what happens with perimenopause. The perimenopausal symptoms hit as we're completely clueless, and whatever we're going through in life for those 10 to 15 years will affect our choices, decisions, and the lack of information will set the path for our perimenopausal journey. Every woman over 35 has a story to tell, and sharing those stories will give perimenopause a voice to set a much healthier and easier path for the generations to come. On that note, meet Roshi. She is a Reiki master, a meditation instructor, and a yoga teacher. But before she got to where she is right now, she had to hit bottom and face her addiction. She actually died, came back to life, broke up with her long-term boyfriend. She decided to terminate her business in Australia, pack her bags, and move to Thailand and start over from scratch. All of that as she was going through perimenopause. She has a pretty cool story to share, and I wish we had more women like Roshi to speak up and share their stories to inspire the heck out of us when we feel like we can't cope or just don't know how to move forward in life as we go through this crazy hormonal shift. This is her information for Facebook and Instagram. Go visit her, say hello, learn about Reiki, ask her questions. Maybe this is the tool you need to prepare for perimenopause, or if you're already in it, maybe this is exactly what you need so you learn how to navigate through this hormonal shift. So don't be shy, stop by, say hello, and make a new friend. Well, not just a friend, a woman who's actually mastered Reiki to help women like you and I from all over the world. So far, these videos have been from different countries with a woman from each one of these countries. Now, Roshi is not originally from Thailand. She's actually from Germany. She has lived in Thailand for 10 years, and she's an awesome window to get to know the culture and also the story, how she got there and how she actually managed to start life over from scratch. But before I go, perimenopause awareness is not something that can be done with just one woman making videos talking about it. It has to be all of us. So please help me, help all of us all around the world. Share this video, get the conversation started, subscribe to the channel to meet other amazing women from all over the place who can become your friends, they can guide you, and you're not going to go through this process all by yourself, feeling like no one understands you. If we get all together, if we come together and become one voice, we will be loud enough so no woman will ever have to go through this in silence. So here we go. Video number 7, Perimenopause in Thailand.
No one really talks about menopause or anything like that. Maybe with their close girlfriends or maybe with their mothers, But in that respect, it's very backward sort of people don't really come out and be straightforward with it. I believe the Asian countries, because there's so many people, people go more in because there's no space. So I think it has a lot to do with space, little space, and Thai people, a lot of them live maybe 10 people in one house. So maybe the only privacy they have is by going in, That's my observation. And also Thai people really only hang with Thai people. It's a culture thing, unless they get married to a foreigner, So, I mean, you're around Thai people in the shops and stuff, but they really sort of stick with their own. Yeah, you see the Thai culture, first of all, they're very private, right? They don't really show emotions. It's called losing face. They never say, I don't know. And I came to Thailand about 10 years ago and I got a scooter. And I remember I used to ask for direction in Phuket. I was living in Phuket. And I used to go, how do I get from here to there? And they just sent you in a direction. And then I got lost. And then I asked people. Every time I ask a Thai person, they give me wrong directions. And they said, no, they just don't say, I don't know. So they sent you somewhere because they want to keep face. So I got lost a lot in the beginning. It's just their mentality. They're very proud people. They don't show emotions. It's very much against their culture to show affection in public, to show anger, to show any kind of emotions. You're just meant to contain it all inside yourself, And that's just the culture. So you never really know what they're thinking because they keep everything to themselves. I came from Germany, moved to Australia. And in Germany, no one people are quite introverted as well in a way. And you go to a supermarket in Germany, no one even looks at you. I never felt comfortable in Germany. I always wanted to, to leave. When I was 8, they took me the first time in my life to Spain. And Germans in the 70s was when they started to sort of go abroad. And so I remember that day till today. So we drove to Spain, the whole family. We had a hacienda. I saw the beach the first time, the ocean, the rocks, and I was completely hooked. And when it was time to leave, I told my family, I'm not coming back. And they said, but you're only 8. What are you going to do? I said, I'm finding a new family. I ain't coming back to Germany. When I was 23, I had a friend I grew up with who lived in Sydney in 87. And he said, you got to come to Australia. It's amazing. So I packed my bags for a holiday and ended up staying 24 years. And then I became a restaurateur, So I had restaurants for about 15 years in catering business. And that was my industry. When I was 46, I hit my bottom. I had to admit to myself I'm an alcoholic, stopped drinking, joined the 12-step program and moved to Thailand. Yeah, I had a fresh start and that was like 10 years ago. When I got sober, I was 46. My partner now 14 years split up. We had a restaurant together and my drinking didn't help. I put him through hell. But also I had that bottom and experience, basically I died in hospital. They retrieved me. I flew in a blackout from Perth to New Zealand. But something like that had to happen to me. So I woke up and thinking, oh my God, this is my bottom. I'm done, I was a daily drinker for 35 years, like I'm an alcoholic. But because I worked in the hospitality industry, I said it was my job to entertain, to drink, But I didn't know what was wrong with me. When everyone else went home, I kept going, I'm powerless over alcohol. The minute I put one drink in, I can't stop. And I know that now I have this disease of alcoholism. But anyway, my life was all about, drinking and using and men and having fun. So, I used men a little bit like a drug, men got me high, men filled that hole with sort of, we're all looking to fill that hole in the soul. And mine was drugs and alcohol and men. So I never really was without a guy till I got sober. And then when I hit my bottom and came to Thailand, that was the first time in my life I was single. And it was hard. It was scary because I always had a man to do certain things. I didn't even know how to write an email. My boyfriend was a software engineer, so he used to take care of everything. But also that emotional thing, and for me was I never dealt with anything because I was always drunk. So with 46, I was like that 12-year-old girl who had no emotional maturity because I never dealt with any breakups, any deaths, any fights, any emotions, So I mean, it's hard for anyone coming into menopause and being single. But, at the time, I thought that was the worst thing that happened to me. But now I know it was the biggest gift to me because I learned to love myself without any outside, help. I realized I don't need a man to be happy. I don't need someone to complete me. But I didn't know how to be happy on my own. I always needed distraction. And all of a sudden, I was in Thailand, where most men come for Thai girls anyway. So I think the universe sent me to Thailand, so there was no distraction with men, was no tempting. Everyone left me alone. No one was chasing me. I was the wrong race and the wrong age. And so that's where my healing could begin because I wasn't distracted by men. And now I've learned over the last 10 years, how to really be with myself. And it's actually empowering, I can pretty much do anything on my own now. And not to saying I'm anti-man, even if it's called menopause, have a pose for men. It doesn't say men are finished or men are stopped. But it was actually exactly what I needed because I was so codependent on having a partner in my life. And it really empowered me to be on my own. And that's whole thing. That what goes wrong with love? It's like everyone looks for someone to complete them. You make me happy, I make you happy, and then everything doesn't work out. Instead of I make me happy, and you make you happy, and then we come together happy, and then we can flourish together. That's really how love should be. But we got it all wrong, of course. We always look for something that completes us and fulfill us. And what I learned a lot with friends in perimenopause, a lot of women didn't feel like having sex anymore. The husband left with a younger girl or the kids left home. So this empty nest syndrome, completely lost. But I think it's a mindset of thinking, oh my God, I've lost everything, instead of looking at the glass half full saying, okay, I'm actually gaining something here. This is an opportunity to grow and to really learn how to make myself happy, to be happy by myself. So I actually have something to give. And I'm not just coming from need, I come from love, and that's the shift what happened to me. I learned to love myself, and I had no idea how to do that when I got single. I was pretty lost at that time, and I ended up working in an orphanage in Khao Lak and teaching young kids who were tsunami victims, teaching them how to learn English. I did that for a few months. And that sort of, by giving back to other people, that really helped me, I had a purpose. But it was scary, but, fear and excitement is the same. It's the same vibration. It was scary, but it was also very empowering. I took a suitcase, I left my partner, everything, and a few $1,000s and came to Thailand. And it was good, like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But in that sense, I knew I was going to be fine somehow because now I was sober and I knew I could manage life sober. I just had that hope. I just had that faith. I'm going to be okay. Yeah, very, very challenging and rewarding. That's how I grew up. I think that's how I grew up. I never grew up before. I also died and came back. There was a new opportunity for me in my life, to basically, I had another chance on life. I mean, not many people get maybe that radical chance, or push, like, okay, I'm back, what am I supposed to do now? And now I know actually my purpose really was to stay sober and help other alcoholics. And why I want to share the Reiki with other women who are suffering, I'm very fortunate. I have a 12-step program. I have a higher power. I got a huge fellowship all over the world through Zoom now. But there's a lot of people out there, unless they're addicts or alcoholics, they don't have that, and somehow I feel a bit of a calling to share my gifts with people who don't have that kind of program. Reiki came into my life when I was about 2 years sober, as another tool. Because once you're sober, it's like a spiritual lollyland, like what else can I learn? What else can I do to help me get well and get better and get more, spiritual? I was about 2 years sober. I did level 1. And level 1 is really about doing Reiki on yourself and practice with your friends and practice on animals and on plants. And it just really opens another level of healing on an energetic body level. And then a few years later, I did Reiki level 2, which then allows you to actually have practice on people, or basically be a practitioner, and you can also charge for it. And you also get a distance symbol where you can do Reiki over distance. And then like a year and a half ago, I made my master. So now I'm a Reiki master. So I can teach level 1, 2, and master as well, which is another nice tool to have. But the minute you become a Reiki master, it's only the beginning. Well, Reiki is a Japanese energy healing technique, right? Where it's basically works. So when you get attuned by a Reiki master, let's say level 1, it's almost like they open you up and put the Reiki energy in. Reiki energy is a universal life force energy. So basically it works like a radio. You get attuned, so you have the Reiki energy in you. So you basically call on your guides, your Reiki masters, and whatever your guides is, who you connect with in the universe. And then this, when you're attuned, it transmits a certain energy, a healing energy through you, through your hands. And then what happens, you transmit this healing energy through, you guide the life force energy through the body of that person in front of you. I know it sounds very woo-woo, and I never believed it till I actually experienced it. And how I can explain it, it's sort of like someone puts a really nice, warm, glowing coat around you, and it reduces the stress, it reduces anxiety, it helps with depression, it works on a body, mind, and spirit, basically, on all levels. I also sort of compared a little bit like with electricity. We can't see it, but it's there. And it's the same with love. I can love someone in Australia and they can feel it and I can feel it, but we're not together. The Reiki works on the chakras, like we have the 7 chakras. And I find with women, especially, the throat chakra seems to be blocked a lot, because that's the chakra where we speak our truths, where we speak up, where we say, here I am. And lots of us women don't speak up, we're too afraid to say things. I mean, to be honest, it took me years to come out with the menopause, because I thought, if I want to find a guy again, you think I'm old and past everything, like even me, and I'm quite open. It took me quite a few years. And that's also for a lot of women, when they, when you don't speak up, you swallow everything down, and that creates diseases, and that creates, stress and pain. How Reiki works, I actually am not the healer. So I tune in with my Reiki guides. I get the energy flowing through my hands, and then I pass it on to you. So I'm only the channel. I'm only a vessel. So there's no ego attached. So basically, when I give a Reiki session, I'm never exhausted, because the healing doesn't come from me. It comes through another channel. And that's why also I get like a recharge, a boost. Maybe that's why I feel so good. I constantly get that Reiki energy flowing through me while I pass it on to someone else. And there's also I can't take any credit. If someone feels better, it's like the Reiki energy does that, the universal life energy, But so that I constantly get charged up with that Reiki energy as well. The anxiety happens because you're not in touch with your body and your feelings, and there's no acceptance, So it's this constant thing of being bombarded with perfection, this constant media thing of how, especially for women in that age, you want to get a husband. Well, you better do this course and that online thing and do this and this and this to be perfect, or you never find someone, So it's all, it's a lot of pressure on young women, I think. And the disconnect happens by wanting to be something you're not. So you split, there's that split happening in your soul. And what Reiki does, it brings you back home. That's how I probably can explain it. When you sort of there to receive the Reiki, you just feel connected with yourself. It reconnects you with yourself. So it's definitely going to help. Also, I'm an addict, so I've helped other people who have anxiety, or social phobia. It just makes you feel better while you're going through what you're going through. That's probably the best way to describe it. And it enhances your connection with yourself. Most of the population have self-worth issues, thinking we're not good enough. And that, of course, comes from childhood, and our parents didn't know better, but that's sort of, you're doing really well. And they went, well, I'm sure everyone else did better. Or that, striving for perfection, which is our downfall completely. The minute you believe you have to be perfect, you're already setting yourself up for failure. And that's that's how most of us are brought up. You got to be the best or you're not going to succeed. So we're constantly under this feeling we're not enough, we're not good enough, and most of us have these self-love issues. I deal with women all the time who don't love themselves, who don't think they're too old, they're too big, they're not pretty enough, they're not that. And especially today with social media, I mean, everyone looks perfect. There's a filter for everything. It's like this fake society where you think, if I don't look like this supermodel, no one's going to want me. Early 40s, I had a hysterectomy because I had big fibroids, but they left the ovaries in, so I didn't go straight into menopause. And because I was sober, I had that belief, menopause ain't gonna happen to me. I'm sober. I don't do menopause, I used to say to people. Women used to just shake their heads like, yeah, whatever. But also, to be honest, I knew nothing about menopause, because I was drinking most of my life, so I was very much in denial about things. But I remember as a child, my mom used to sit there with the fan, and no one talked about this in Germany. And I used to say, what's wrong? And she used to say, nothing, I'm just hot. So it was never talked about. A lot of shame was there, a stigma, a lot of shame attached to that whole menopause thing. So, and I think I carried that shame a bit too. I didn't want people to know, or there was a shame feeling old and not attractive anymore if that happens. But anyway, when I was 49, I got a job in Malaysia cooking on a private yacht, and it hit me. The captain arrived on the boat. I didn't think he liked women too much. He put me in a cabin with no air condition. And that's when I had my first hot flush, was 49. And it just hit me out of nowhere because I was convinced I'm not doing this. And I had no warning signs because I didn't have a period, for 9 years or for 8 years. And and then I spent a month on that boat in a cabin with no air condition, and it was horror. The hot flushes came, the night sweats came, And so I was, so I realized I can't avoid it. It's real, it's happening, And so I came back to Koh Samui, and a friend suggested maca powder for me, and I got onto the maca powder, which is a plant from Peru, and that really helped me with my physical symptoms, and then Reiki came into my life, and Reiki helped me a lot with my menopause symptoms as well, and that's why I'm now helping other women with Reiki and menopause symptoms. I changed my diet with maybe 40, 47, 48. First time in my life. You got to have the willingness to feel better. Once you make that decision, I want to eat better, or I want to eat less of that. And because you get the results, you are what you eat. If you eat well, you feel great. When I have a pizza and maybe half a block of chocolate, it's great at the time, but I know about the consequences that I might feel a little bit after, right? I might feel a bit gluten, a bit bloated, or I might feel a bit of a sugar rush, and then next day, but I'm aware of that now. I'm aware of the consequences, but I still do it, and I accept, okay, it's not going to make me feel great, but it tastes good. So once in a while, I'll do that, and I'm okay with it. It's all about acceptance, I think. I think it's very much, a healthy mind, and then everything else follows. I used to think life happened, life does things to me, and now I know life happens for me. It's not that I get punished by life, or, I used to blame everything. I used to think it was everyone's fault that I was drinking. If he would have had that experience, he would be drinking. I was a blamer, I was a victim. And that change of mindset from victim to being responsible and to letting go more of stuff and not sweat the small stuff so much, So I really work on my mental health. I work on relaxation, and meditation is a really amazing tool for that. And then the whole body is at ease, because it's all energy. If you feel good, then the body follows. If you're constantly stressed and worried in the head, it will affect your whole system. I became a yoga teacher. I was 55. Where else is that possible? Because I got sober, but also because I felt empowered. And when you turn that shift from I'm invisible, no one wants me anymore, it's a mindset, to I can do anything I put my mind to. And I went to India. I was 55, became a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher and a raw dessert chef. And so I have these gifts I love to share with other women and maybe inspire them. Life is not over, it's only begun. I didn't like women. I only hung out with the men, party together, get drunk together, do stupid things together. Women wanted to talk about feelings and emotions and maybe their hair. And, I wasn't interested. I was really not a woman's woman. But also I know now a little bit, I didn't love myself. I didn't trust myself. So I didn't trust other women. Now, being in recovery, my only women, people I hang out with is women, my sisters, I call it, And that's, I really understood, I learned in the fellowship about sisterhood. The women showed me what sisterhood meant. All of a sudden I met these beautiful women, some women are sober for 20, 30 years, and they took me under their wing, and it really became a loving myself and therefore loving the woman in me, then be able to love other women and trust other women. This came to me, it's like menopause. In meditation, you got to help women in perimenopause, menopausal symptoms, that whole thing. That's your journey. And I went, oh, that means I have to come out and tell people I'm in menopause. And then, then this whole download came, write something, a package for celebrating menopause with distance reiki. And then I had to make some posts for Facebook, and I got 2,000 friends, and I came out #celebrating menopause. And then I was even brave making a post saying I had a white outfit on, the benefit of being in menopause. You can wear white all the time. That was huge for me. And that was only a couple of months ago. So something, I think that was not just for helping others, was for helping me to get honest and to come out and say, hey, I'm in menopause and I'm fabulous, not saying, oh, I'm going through menopause. I love how the universe works, when I love that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. So this is not, as much as I, of course, want to help others, but it's healing me as well with my shame and with my stigma I have around all that. Be the lighthouse. The lighthouse doesn't go around looking for boats to save. The lighthouse just shines. So when the boats come, it's there and shining. And that's how I see myself and you. We put ourselves out there with who we are, and hopefully it spreads to other women, and they go, oh, I like what she has. Oh, she's happy and she's single and she lives in a foreign country. Or, like with you with perimenopause, oh, wow, she's bringing awareness to other women and helping them. Oh, that's lovely. I like what she has. I'd love to be like that. I like to be of service, maybe. I used to like to save everyone. When I first got sober, I thought everyone should be, stop drinking and using, and I learned the hard way. No, I can only be the light. If I work on myself and I shine and I put myself out there saying, here I am and I feel great. And if you want to know what I do, I'm happy to share it with you. A lot of people want what you have, but they don't want to do what you do. So yeah, you got to change your life. You've got to have more awareness of the body. You got to eat better. You got to sleep more. You got to drink less alcohol, smoke less. Maybe do some exercise, do a bit of yoga, do a bit of meditation, go in a little bit, find out who you are. But I think our job really is to be the light. And then people will find us. That's energy. People who need us and want what we have will find us. I can look life like I have problems, or I can see everything as an opportunity to grow. And that's the shift of mind I've decided. Everything is an opportunity to grow, and if doors don't open, it's because they're not meant to open, because there's something better there for me. There's this saying, the universe only got three answers. Yes, yes, but not now. No, because I have something better for you. My advice would be, take care of your body, mind, and spirit. And like the body, of course, like, eating better. And mind would be like stressless, take more time out in nature, go more on walks, connect more with nature, have a limited amount of time on the computer, on the phone, on all this. Because it's all technology in your brain. So give your brain a break. And then, of course, the spiritual part, I would say, do yoga, do meditation. Already in a frame of mind that's positive. And then when you go out in the world, nothing bad really can happen.